Welcome. Happy Monday, leaders. How you all doing out there? It's time for another episode of the NBR Show. So if you're feeling a little bit demotivated, you're at the place to get motivated. But more importantly, today we're going to focus on health and wellness. I'm so excited to have one of my great friends, Dr. Yvonne, on today. I'm going to share some nuggets with you, some great tips to help you in your life, in your business. And I definitely want to hear from you. So wherever you may be, put it in the section and like to dance, so dance with me. Tell me where you are. Where are you situated in the world? I'm in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, for many of you who know me. And what's one thing that you want to achieve before the end of the year? So I'll wait for all you guys to sort of come on and we'll start the show. Yes, let's get in the vibe. I still love this song, and I gotta give a shout out to Canton Jones, Boss Way. I do not own the copyright to this song, but it's a great song. And if you listen to the words, like personally, I'm a Christian. I respect whatever your faith may be, but it's so aligned with who I am. And I think that's a big part in life and being successful. You should be aligned in who you are and in who God created you to be. All right. Okay. Let's turn it down a little. All right. So it's Monday. Some people dread Monday. But when you love what you do, you should be excited about Monday. I hope you guys all had a wonderful long weekend. I hope you had time to relax, unwind, and not think about work or your to-do list. Really, it's time to relax. And so I'm curious to hear, what are some of the things that you're focusing on for the year end? As I mentioned, what are some of your goals, your business goals, your life goals, your health goals? And we're definitely going to dig into that today when I bring on my lovely friend, Dr. Yvonne. So, personally, a little bit about me and professionally. For those of you who don't know me, it's your first time to the show. Why do I do this show? I do the show to inspire, motivate, and empower you amazing human beings out there to truly, one, believe in who you are. Believe that you do have a purpose, that I consider that your God given purpose, and that once you walk in your purpose, you'll be more confident, you'll be wealthier, more successful, more happier, more fulfilled, and lastly, healthier. And that's what life's about. If you have all the wealth in the world, but you don't have your health, then you really don't have anything. So your health is your wealth. A little bit about me. I am a full-time entrepreneur. I am the founder and CEO of NBR Strategic Solutions. I started my full-time entrepreneurial journey about 3 years ago. Woohoo. My background is in corporate branding, marketing, communications. I was doing that, still doing that for over 17 years. And so I'm really passionate about helping entrepreneurs, corporations, nonprofit organizations with really getting clear on their strategy from a communications, branding, and marketing perspective. You do need a strategy to be successful in business, in life, in whatever you do. So I'm really good at mapping out your goals and helping you find clarity in that. And then obviously executing on that. And I believe that confidence and the ability to communicate with confidence plays a key role in being successful as an entrepreneur. So I do offer private one-on-one coaching sessions focusing on just that communications, working on your mindset, because having a right mindset, or what I'd say a positive mindset, really will determine your results. If you feel like you can accomplish a specific outcome, you will most likely find the resources to make that happen. If you feel like you're not capable to achieve a certain outcome, then most likely you won't. So I'm really key on mindset. So I do a lot of mindset coaching. And as you well probably all know, I love sharing motivational content where I give you nuggets of inspiration and tactics and strategies to consider on a personal, professional, and business level. So if you're also looking for a public speaker, you know who to call. That's me. I speak on confidence, strategy, communications, branding, and of course, mindset. So now that you know a little bit about me, again, I want to hear a little bit about you out there. What are some things you're working toward achieving? And more importantly, what do you love to do? Do you know what your God given purpose is? I'm looking forward to hearing some of your responses. So, without further ado, I do want to share what I consider my boss tip before I have my amazing guest on. In life, sometimes you do get rejections. Well, I do believe, well, that's life. You're going to get rejected, right? Like it just depends on how and when. But I want you to focus on the fact that every rejection is a redirection. You know, I really take time to look at my audience, and I want you to know that I really appreciate you. All of you. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram is not on this yet, but YouTube. I used to do the YouTube or the Instagram lives, but all of my network, I've seen so much growth. Many of you are starting your own businesses. Many of you are going back to school. Many of you are really saying, you know what? I really want to take time to invest in myself on a personal level. And that is important. And this is my success tip to you for this week and forever is to invest in yourself. Now, I'm really big on reading and building content into my life. When I say that, I mean I read things that are of interest to me. I read things that I'm not so good at, that I want to learn more about, because I do believe it's important to be a lifelong learner. And so when you're thinking about how do I become more successful, because it seems like that's what we all want to be successful in our area of expertise, the key really is to focus on investing in that knowledge. Be a lifelong learner. And the great thing about having these technological resources, YouTube, online, Google, is that you can find out anything from your fingertips. So why not spend some time in investing in you, reading more, instead of spending a little bit less time on social media, scrolling, that mindless scrolling, but spending a little bit more time on reading on things that are of importance to you, and that's going to help you to be a better version of yourself. So I want to invite you to spend at least 30 minutes a day on reading. Just 30 minutes a day can make a huge difference. And I think we've heard that saying about an apple a day keeps the doctor away. We're gonna have the doctor on soon, right? Well, I believe that by having education, reading in your area of expertise and your knowledge, you will make yourself more valuable, invaluable in your workplace, if you're in your career, in your business, whatever space. So let's invest in ourselves and watch great things happen. Now, without further ado, I want to have on my amazing guest, Dr. Yvonne. She has an extensive bio. She's a full-time entrepreneur. She's a doctor. She's big on health, mental health, and wellness. She also has a restaurant, a co-owner of a restaurant with her husband. And I want to give her a chance to share a little bit about who she is without reading her extensive bio. She's well educated. There's a lot of, numbers behind her letter, well due in respect of how she's so hardworking and her passion for, again, knowledge. So let's bring her on the show. And, I'm still going to play some music because it's my song. She didn't give me her song today, but let's give her a warm welcome. And Dr. Yvonne, I know you can hear me, so you can have a little moment to just, raise your vibe, raise your energy, because we're going to focus on mental health today, really, and health and wellness. So much that we don't hear enough about, I really think, because it's a stigma, especially in certain communities. We're going to break those stigmas down today, and we're going to dive deep into things we can do to help ourselves in all levels of our life. All right? Mm-mm. I'm singing, people. Hey! Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How about you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon in your busy calendar. I know you have another meeting right after this one. I'm super excited to have you on the show again. This is your second time around, but you've never been to my LinkedIn network. And so I'm super excited to have you here today. Why don't you start off by telling the audience a little bit, and those who will watch, a little bit about who are you?
Me, first, I'm gonna start by saying I was just laughing when you were saying an apple a day keeps a doctor away, and I'm like, sis, you don't want me to have a job? But oh no,
No, of course not. You're gonna always be in demand. We know
I know that's it. That's the joke of the day, you know. So first of all, I'm a Christian, just like you. I'm a family doctor with special interest in obesity medicine, certified with the American Board of Obesity Medicine. I'm a mom, a wife of three, and a businesswoman. You did mention with KFS Barbecue Smokehouse and Breakers Health, where I do medical consultancy. I'm also an author. We had a book together called The Warrior Woman Project, and I have another book coming out called What's Obesity Got to Do with It, where I talk about my journey to self-love, weight loss, and also that of my patients that I've seen along the way, and that has inspired me to be a better person. And I'm gonna share that knowledge to others. And also, I do speaking, as you know, public speaking. I talk about self care, mental health, healthy lifestyle, and not focusing only on the skill, because I think health has to be holistic. It's not just the number of the skill, because sometimes you can focus so much on the skill that you lose your self confidence. So I start by telling people to love themselves at any weight, and then you can make those healthy choices.
I love it. And then I hear this extent. I'm like, when do you have time for self care? With your like,
Mm.
tell us about that because as an
Mhm.
entrepreneur, mom, wife, business owner, how do
Mhm.
you find time to balance it all?
For me, the thing is, first thing in the morning, I find it's very important for you to find that time alone, because sometimes you might miss the boat. When you get busy, at the end of the day, you're tired, you can just go to sleep, right? So I find first thing in the morning, if I can create that 30, 45, an hour during the day, I can squeeze in some exercise. I like HIIT, intensity interval exercise, because it's quick.
Yeah.
Do my stretches, do some yoga, do some prayers, do some meditation, and some positive affirmation, because I want to get armed through the day. I'm going to look at myself in the mirror and say, today is going to be a good day.
Yes.
You know, no matter what comes my way, I can face it. You
I love
know,
it. It's so
you have to arm yourself, and just that self-reflection, that connecting with God, to me it's just so important, because then I'm armed throughout the day. And sometimes at the end of the day, I can go out also for walk or dance, or I love skipping ropes. So I can use 10 minutes and do 1,000 skipping ropes. So that's good exercise.
yes.
It keeps my heart pumping, right? So, yeah.
Love that you know that because for me that is key. Like I love to work out or any
Mhm.
level of activity because it raises your endorphins, of course. But
Of
more
course. Yeah.
importantly, it makes me feel like I can take on anything for that day. Number one, connecting. The first thing I see when I wake up in the morning, and everybody who watches me regularly will know this, is thank you, God, for waking me up in my right sound mind.
Oh, yes.
Because that is a gift to wake up. Many people go to bed and they think they're going to wake up tomorrow, and God forbid they
Mhm.
don't. So acknowledging God in His presence, and then it's like that time of prayer. One thing I love being married, me and my husband spend a bit of time in prayer, and then it's like you said, having that time alone for self reflection or working out, which is key to be able to
Mhm.
manage all your daily tasks. And I think that's one thing that we've been talking a lot, where you hear a lot more about mental health and taking care of
Yeah.
yourself. But
Mhm.
it sounds so easy to say it, but I think the challenge is really incorporating that into one's lifestyle or actually even knowing when you need to ask for help or the fact that we've just sort of blocked it out for so long that making it a priority. And I think being a business owner, a mom, people, working their 9 to 5s, it's hard to build that time in. So what advice would you give to that working, busy mom, entrepreneur, wife, all of that in terms of making time for themselves? I'm big on habits, creating that
Mhm.
habit. Do you have any feedback or maybe solutions that you offer your patients in terms of carving out that time?
Yeah, I tell them to start slow. Like start by even 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes. And as time goes on, it will become part of a routine, to a point that when you don't have that time, you feel like something is right. And if you can have someone along the way who can support you on that journey. For me, I start with my quiet time. When my husband gets in, with my kids, we do our prayers, and then off we go, right? So just when you have that somebody that you can, kind of like an accountability partner, right, that really makes a big difference. And even during the day also, if you're going to work, you can park your car a little bit farther from where you want to go and just walk. If you're going to the supermarket, park a little bit away and walk, right? So just those little changes, like, it makes a big difference. Yeah.
Absolutely. I like what you're saying. Those small changes will lead to bigger changes, right? And it's just starting. I think sometimes
Mhm.
we'll start next week or next month, but it's the goal is just start today.
Yeah, exactly.
Today, right? And so in
Hmm.
terms of your entrepreneurial journey, and congratulations on your book and the next book. I love the title. What does obesity have to do with it? It reminds me of that Tina Turner song, What's Love Got
What love got to do with it?
Yes,
What love?
but it's
Yeah,
got that emotion. And a lot of
yeah.
us are driven by emotion. So I'm curious to know why did you want to start your entrepreneurship journey? Like what was it about entrepreneurship that really, intrigued you? And what would you say to those out there who are thinking about
Mhm.
that entrepreneurial journey?
Well, for me, business has not really been my thing. My husband is a real businessman. So he started talking about KFS Barbecue Smokehouse, also known as KFS Meals, where we do healthy meals also.
Mhm,
And so that got me into it also. I'm like, I can see how this is well needed in the community. And
mhm.
then fast forward a few years later, I started thinking about Baker's Health, which is a medical consultancy. So through that, I offer weight management and also consultancy to like different companies. Let's say there's a corporate organization that needs help with empowering their workers, doing some presentations, or even helping them on their own weight management. I do that too, and I also do keynote speaking, and yeah, name it. Yeah.
You name it. I love it. And so where does that passion come from?
The passion comes from wanting to serve,
Mm,
right? Wanting to help. Because I think in life, whatever you do, I always say at the end of the day, when I close my eyes, what do I want to be remembered for? I
yeah.
want to be remembered for someone who was there for people. I want to be remembered. I want somebody to come and speak the truth at my funeral, not say, oh, how sometimes people might come and sugarcoat things. I want somebody to say, if not for her, things would have been hard for me. But
Mhm.
she held my hand when she was going up the ladder. She dragged me along and we sat on the table. To me, that's what real success is. To me, that's what keeps me going. Or if I can have one person who will tell me, because of your support, my weight went down, and because of that, I decreased my risk of diabetes or high blood pressure, or my mental health is way better right now. That gives me joy at the end of the day. And that's my aim to keep going.
I love it, sis. To serve, right? And that
Yes.
truly is, and to all those who are watching, it is about serving. Entrepreneurship leadership is about serving. And I find you find your success in serving where your heart's at. That's where you
Yes.
find your success, right? Sometimes
Mhm.
we're taught to chase the money. I believe chase your purpose, chase your dream in terms of what brings you joy and fulfillment, and the money will come. Starting a
Yes.
business is definitely not easy. And you mentioned that your husband has been really a great support because he's like the business and the businessman or whatever, and he's sort of introduced, opportunities where now
Mhm.
you guys have collaborated. In terms
Yeah.
of your consultancy and working with patients on, anything around weight management or health self-care. How long have you been doing that? And what are some challenges that you may have faced or may be facing now? And how did you overcome it?
Yeah. So the challenges sometimes with that is just getting enough time in my schedule to do that because I'm also a family doctor,
Mhm,
right? So I have all these other things I have to deal with. And, you know, I would like to create more time, to be able to focus on that also, but you're gonna have to have a balance. So to me, that's the challenges. With COVID, lots of people got sick. I need to attend to them,
mhm.
right? So those were just some challenges mainly. Otherwise, it's been good. Yeah.
And that's the thing. You're a full-time family doctor, and I'm sure you have difficult situations with, patients that
Mhm.
might take a toll on you, or does it? Or how do you manage that? I know one thing for me, I was like, my mom's in healthcare nurse. I could never do that. It's just not my forte. I don't like blood. I don't really like being in that environment. But some are built for that, like yourself. So how do you manage when you have maybe patients that are dealing with a lot of, health issues or struggles? Do you carry that home? How do you leave that behind? How do you leave it behind and separate the two?
Mindfulness, meditations, prayer. And that's why you have to fill your cup first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Because when your cup is empty, what are you going to fill it with? Other people's troubles.
Yes.
Yes, you're empathetic, you feel for them, you're there to support them. But when I walk out of the room, I stand in front of the door and I do this. I'm here to support you, but I know you're going through a lot. I'll do my best to support you, but I don't want to take that energy from this room to the next.
Mhm.
Sometimes you actually sit with them and they're going through something difficult. They cry and you cry. We're human.
Yes.
But I don't want to take those tears from this room to the next room because the person in the other room might be celebrating. I just got engaged. I just got married. And here they are excited, and you walk in with this dull, gloomy face. So
Yeah.
mindfulness is the way. I stand in front of the door and I say a little prayer and I do my mindfulness. I'm just going to be in the moment. Like the person next door needs my attention and I'm going to give it my all.
I love
Yeah.
that you noted that mindfulness. I think too sometimes as an entrepreneur, because we have so many things coming at us, we tend to sometimes not live in the moment because we're out of the moment thinking about what next, what next, what next. What mindfulness practices do you use that you could share with our audience that might be helpful?
Yeah. So for me, I just reflect on, it's like all the senses of touch, sight, you
Yeah.
know, I just, reflect to myself and I say, I want to be in the moment. I want to be in the moment. I'm going to shut my thoughts from what I just heard, right? And I'm just going to look at you and focus on you. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. So mindfulness is very important, absolutely. And just the ability to focus on being in the moment. I love that, right? Because
Yes.
then we get to actually enjoy life if we're thinking
Yes.
about what's happening now and not worrying or thinking about tomorrow or the next day or, 2 hours from now. That mindfulness is so important. So then on the flip side, so challenges for you sounds like time. You need more
Yeah.
time. We
Yes.
all
Don't
want
you need more time? Don't you need more time?
do. I realize, but I'm like, you know what? We all get the same 24 hours in the day. And that is a lot of the concerns I have from my clients when I do, especially when I do one-on-one coaching, is time management, work-life balance. And I'm like, you have to create a calendar that works for you. Sometimes we feel the pressure to pack everything in because we want to please everybody else, but we're not.
Mhm.
I'm like, I got to a point, I'm like, I don't want to be Superwoman anymore, or
Yeah.
Superman for the men clients out there.
No.
But you have to realize what is healthy for you, because when you're good, like I like how you use that analogy of filling your cup up, then you can help others. But if you're not, your cup is empty.
Mhm.
You end up taking on other people's burdens, their troubles, and before you know,
Mhm.
God forbid, you can't even get out of bed. So we all want more time, but it's how we use the time that we have. That's the key. And my tip I use is I just focus on what's really important today, what has to come
Exactly.
today, and I
Yes.
build in time to relax, like just not
Mhm.
about work all the time or what needs to happen next.
Yeah.
So in terms of success, because every success means different things to different people.
Mhm.
How do you define success, and what are one of your most successful moments that you'd love to share with us today?
Hmm. Success to me is when you have worked hard
Mhm.
and you finally get this moment where you can see the result. That's one part of success. The other success to me is when somebody looks at me in the face and says, "Thank you. Because of you, I am where I am today." To me, that's the greatest success ever.
Yes, I love it.
And yeah, and for me, one moment that I would say I was proud of is when I mentor somebody, like an international trained doctor, and they
Mhm.
get into residency in Canada. To me, that is success of the highest order.
I love it, sis. So it's helping someone else become more successful or achieving their goal. That's what success means to you, is elevating others. Is what I'm
Yes.
hearing. And I like that mindset because not everybody thinks that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes, people have that selfish mentality, and that to them is they want to grab and grab and grab. But for you, and I love, and I think that's where you and I connect, is we want to help people. And when you're
Yeah.
doing great, like I always say, your success is my success
Exactly.
is your success, right? So that you know
Hmm.
that. And as we're wrapping up, is there anything that you want to share specifically? And then I'm going to ask you about your favorite quote.
Oh, which one first? My favorite quote is, as a child, was always, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Oh, they used to make us memorize that.
Yes.
And isn't it true? We're gonna fail,
Mhm.
right? We're gonna fail, but keep going. When you fall, you get up, right? A child gets up, this, when they're born, they start crawling, then they start walking. The first step, they fall, they get up, they fall, they get up. Soon they start running. And that's the way it is in life. So
Yes.
baby steps,
So
baby steps.
have you ever have you ever had a point in your life where you felt like giving up on a goal?
Oh, yes,
Yes. And how did you
many
get
times,
okay, I know.
many times. That's life, right?
How did
Coming to Canada,
whoa,
you
okay.
know, coming to Canada, trying to get into the residency system. You do an exam, you apply, you fail. And you're almost like, oh my God, why am I still doing this?
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
But I was blessed. I have a wonderful husband, Wilfred, who was like, no, no, you got to keep going. And I'm like, no, I'm tired. No, you're going to keep going. You started this, so keep going,
Mhm.
So yeah,
Okay, so it sounds like your husband Wilfred, he's a mentor to you as well. Not only your
yeah,
husband, a mentor, and that's important, right? Is having
yes,
a mentor in your life, somebody that you look up to or admire, or that can push you when the going
yes,
is tough, because it will get tough. And I
yeah,
think life is not smooth sailing. I do believe that we go through challenges to build our tenacity, build our strength, and to show us what we're really made of. And oftentimes we give up too soon. Just before the blessing is right there at the door, I say we give up. Some people give up, right? And you gotta
mhm,
keep pushing forward. So,
yeah,
what is something that's coming up? Do you I know you speak, your book is coming up that we should be
yeah.
aware of, that you're preparing for, that you'd like to share before I let you go? I know you have another meeting at 6, and I don't wanna go into that time. So what's coming up next for Dr. Yvonne?
What's coming out next for me? Well, my book is going to come out. What's obesity got to do with it soon?
Do you have a release?
And yeah, like it's almost at the end. I'm just sorting out the last. You're always gonna look at this little thing. Let me change here. Let me change there. And hopefully before the fall, I should be able to launch that up. Right.
Okay.
At some point, I've been working on my coaching program, but I had to pause because I think the pandemic is still there. And I'm focusing my energy on this pandemic response and all the other work I do around that.
Mhm.
So everything is a matter of time, short-term goal, medium-term goal, long-term goals. Just
Absolutely.
that I have to prioritize. And when the time is right, you would know.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining me today, Dr. Yvonne. You're amazing. I love you.
Me too. And I love it. Invest in yourself, people. Invest in yourself. That's what my sister NBR and I would always say. Invest in yourself and
Right?
keep smiling.
Absolutely. So enjoy yourself, and we'll talk behind the scenes, but thank you again for joining me. Enjoy your next meeting, and thanks for all the tips you shared with everybody today. And the focus is,
Okay.
mastering our mental health, and that's important. Mindfulness.
Very important. Mindfulness, self-care, and seek help.
Yeah.
If you find that you can't deal with it, seek help. There are lots of hotlines that you can call. Please seek help. Don't struggle alone.
Yeah, and
Thank
last
you.
before you go, just say, how do people contact you? Do you have a website?
Okay, yes.
Yes.
I'm on Instagram at Dr. Kangong, on LinkedIn, Dr. Yvonne Kangong. I'm also on Facebook, Yvonne Kangong.
Perfect.
And my website is www.breakershealth.com. So why Breakers Health? Breaking is because you got to break every stigma on bias that holds you from achieving your life purposes. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye,
Bye
Dr.
bye.
Stay safe. Well, wasn't that amazing? Just hearing from the doctor herself, and how it's important to what I really took from that was mindfulness, is the fact of being in the moment. Sometimes we say, let's be in the moment, but it's actually hard to be in the moment when we have all these other things coming at us. And before I brought her on, I talked a lot about investing in yourself. And you might be wondering, well, I'm not really sure what investing in myself looks like. And so, what I would invite you to do is sit down and have a moment of self reflection with you. Ask yourself, what do I really want? What do I really want? Why do I want it? And what will having that do for me? Get super clear on what success looks like for you, not based on what your family may say, your friends, but what does success look like for you? And then once you have a true understanding of what that looks like for yourself, then you want to map out some of those goals. And I always say focus on, one major goal for the year. We're always like literally like halfway through the year already, but one major goal. And then you're going to have a few what I consider subset goals underneath that. But what's your main priority? Because one thing, if your energy is deflected all over, it's going to be hard to achieve that one goal. So be specific. Are you focusing on your business? And in what area of your business do you want to focus on? Is it the area of marketing? Is it the area of client retention, client attraction? Um, what is it that you want to focus on from a business perspective, and why? Be super clear. Or maybe it's your health and your wellness, which should always be number one. But once you've mastered that habit of your health and your wellness by creating healthy habits, it becomes naturally easier. So maybe that's your number one priority. I want to master just being healthy, being whole, feeling good mentally, emotionally, because those things are going to act, those things, mental health, You don't want sometimes you don't want to talk about that mental stability. Being mentally healthy is related to your physical health. It's related to your spiritual. It's related to your financial. It's related to your career, your business. Mentally, you have to be in a sound mind. You have to know exactly where you're at. And when I say where you're at, it's in terms of knowing your goals and where you want to be at, knowing that you're okay or you're not okay, and knowing that if you're not okay, it's okay. It's okay to be not okay, but you have to get the help that you need. It may be in terms of a mentorship, it may be in terms of working with a doctor or a coach, but it's realizing what do I really want. And so if you're at a point in your life where you're like, I've achieved some great things. There's a lot of things I really want to achieve. But I'm not really sure how to get there. I'm feeling a bit confused. Maybe I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. I don't know where to start, or I've tried so many things and I'm not seeing certain results. I do believe in mapping out a roadmap to your success. I do believe that having a strategy in place, and not that the strategy is going to go smoothly, but having some form of direction is going to really help you to focus. It's going to give you clarity. And I'm a big believer that clarity will save you time, money, resources. And that's really why I created this strategic workbook. So you might be like, what is that strategic workbook? But it's actually a workbook. So if you want a copy, like you can get the tangible copy. Like I like to write things, I like to feel things. You can buy the book on my website, natashabrussell.com. It's a great resource for you to map out your goals, to map out what do you really want to see. Secondly, I do have a PDF version available. So if you prefer PDF and it's $20, 19 bucks for the PDF version, feel free to grab that or grab the hard copy. Secondly, once you have a true idea of what you want to accomplish and you've created that strategy, that roadmap, where we usually fall off is execution. Execution sounds so easy, that one word. If only it was. It's not. I believe all of us struggle with execution in some capacity. And really, it's a boiled down to consistency. It boils down to being disciplined in the things that you need to do consistently to bring about that result. And sometimes we give up just before that success or that outcome is about to happen. And so I want to invite you today that if you're feeling like, I keep trying, I keep failing, I really don't believe in failing until you actually give up, let's work together. As I mentioned, the areas that I specialize in, my background is in communications, branding, and PR. I studied that at Mount Royal. I gained a 4-year degree in marketing, or not market. Well, marketing was a part of my program, but really focusing on communications and PR. I have quite a bit of experience in that area. That's really boils down to what I do. But how can I help you? You're wondering, how can you help me, Natasha? And it really boils down to you working with me to clarify, what do you want? Personally, professionally, business wise, and then what's stopping you? Because a lot of times that's one thing about working with a coach. I am an international certified health and life coach. I'm able to identify gaps that you may not see, or just walking you through. You be able to say, hey, I didn't even look at that as a roadblock. Or I didn't even realize that I've been self-sabotaging because of this. And so just by being able to identify that clearly, 9 out of 10 times you'll find like, wow, that aha moment, I consider it with my clients, that aha moment to say, hey, I know what's been holding me back. And now that I'm aware, I can work on getting some tools to support me in overcoming that. So if you want to work together on that private one-on-one, I do have very limited spots for that. And in terms of confidence coaching, communications coaching, or the business coaching private one-on-one, feel free to go to my website, natashabrussell.com, and let's book some time together. We can chat, make sure it's a great fit. I'll tell you a bit more about the program. You'll see a lot of success stories of clients I've worked with, continue to work with, about why we'd be a great fit for each other. And I do love coaching, but I do want to gear more towards speaking. So if you are looking for a public professional speaker who can come in to and talk to your employees or host one of your events, my areas are, of course, confidence, communications, mindset, really focusing on that healthy habits of having a positive mindset, and last but not least, strategy. Those are really my three main buckets. And I love strategy because what you're mapping out your vision, you're mapping out your goals, your objectives, your tactics, and then it's really up to you to execute with the right support, with the right tools. So thank you all for joining me today. for another episode, a short but sweet episode of the NBR Show. I'm super excited to be here every Monday. Well, not every Monday, it depends, alternating Mondays to give you great content that can help you change your life on a personal, professional, or business level. Now, at the end of the day, I want to leave you with this. You have a vision, you have goals for a reason. Great things take time. And so, although you might be facing some roadblocks, some challenges, I want to invite you to the fact that never give up. Don't give up on those goals. Don't give up on those dreams. Those dreams you have. Great things take time. And sometimes you might be wondering, why me? Why is this happening? Because it's going to build your tenacity. It's going to build your strength. It's going to build your character. It's going to build your integrity. So instead of questioning why me? Say, why not me? Because I'm bold, because I'm beautiful, because I'm handsome, because I'm intelligent, because God gave me gifts that I know with God I can do all things and anything indeed is possible with God. You have to adopt that mindset of success. Adopt that mindset of success and you will win. Key message, but we're going to rein it all up together. Adopt that mindset that you will win, that you are a winner and you will win. But you got to believe it to receive it. So thank you again for joining me today. Have my little, ooh. I'm going to be taking a little break from the show, but I'm excited to see you guys again soon. And until then, be confident in who you are. Be confident. Life is beautiful. It's beautiful when you're living life celebrating yourself, not criticizing yourself. Celebrating yourself, not criticizing yourself. So be confident in who you are because you were created on purpose for a purpose. Be bold enough to own that greatness because you are great. But do you believe it? I really can't believe it for you. You got to look within and be like, you know what? I am. And whatever you might consider your flaw is actually what makes you unique. And tap into that. You then want to be a bit fearless, right? Because when you're fearless, it means that you're willing to try new things from outside your comfort zone. And last but not least, be you. There's no one else in this world like you. So love you, celebrate you, know who you are, trust and believe that the very best is yet to come. Know who you are. Bye. Cause I'm a boss. Cause I'm a boss. Are you a boss? Yes, you are. What is a boss? A boss is a leader. A boss is someone that never gives up. A boss is someone who knows where they're going. I'm a boss. Yes. Later.